Hi class 3, welcome back to your value education class. Last two chapters I have taught you. I want the comment that whether you like those chapters or if there is any difficulty, please do write to me. You all are not writing. Rupkatha wrote to me. I like that. So others also, please do write so that I understand you have understood or not. Okay. And I hope you all have written question answers and all the objectives that I have given you. Right? Be prepared with everything. Send it to me so that I can check it. Okay. And today we are going to start with a new chapter. So get ready with your book. You know the book name, Inspiration for Life, number 3. And today we will do also chapter 3. Okay. Now, the name of the chapter is Non-Violence. Okay. What do you mean by this term, non-violence? What strikes first in your mind? About whom it strikes? Who supports this? What do you think? I know many of you can say, since I cannot see you, so I don't know who is going to tell me the answer. I am only giving you the answer. See, when we talk about non-violence, the first name strikes is Mahatma Gandhi, right? Because he was the one during the struggle period when India was struggling for freedom. He supported this non-violence. He wanted to continue the movement of getting free from Britishers through this policy, non-violence, right? So, in other words, you can say we should spread love instead of arguing, fighting, quarreling. If we spread love, then we can live in peace, in harmony, right? So, this chapter is also about non-violence. Let us see what is there in this chapter. First of all, before we start the class, see it's written, one hymn is written, short hymn. Let's recite. Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram पतित पावन सीताराम ईश्वर अल्लाह तेरो नाम सबको सन्मति दे भगवान. Why it is said so? Because see, we always pray to God to give us wisdom, knowledge, love, and we be enough matured to continue our life with proper aspects. Okay. So here it is written that we pray to Allah, Ishwar, whomever you say, to give us wisdom, knowledge. Okay. And we live in peace. So let's begin. Screaming, beating, and using harsh words are facts of violence. They only cause pain and suffering. We gain nothing through violence. So, we should learn to adopt the policy of Ahimsa or non-violence. Ahimsa teaches people to love, respect each other. It teaches people to make friends, not enemies. Ahimsa is a peaceful act that spreads love among people and teaches them to live in harmony. Non-violent people are peacemakers. Wherever they go, they spread love and friendship with their kind words and deeds. There are many peace lovers all over the world. Mahatma Gandhi was the pioneer of Ahimsa. He followed the path of Ahimsa or non-violence throughout his life. So, whatever I told you at the beginning, that is only written here. That, see, it's no point fighting, screaming, beating, hating each other. There is no point, because if you do this, it will only gradually it will continue and will give you hatred against each other. So it's better to have love within ourselves and to spread that. It's good to be friendly with others. It's very necessary to become someone's friend, partner, share each other's views, give importance to others' views, Respect each other. That is very important. Even when you be in the classroom, we teachers tell you that don't fight among each other. If anything is lost, if you are not getting anything, if somebody has done to you something, you speak to that person. Tell to your teachers or whoever is their aunties, right? It's very good that you find out a solution of a problem, not that you will continue with that. And as I told you, non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi was the pioneer of Ahimsa. Non-violence means Ahimsa. And he always wanted to follow that path. He always followed that. Okay. Where you can bring harmony, peace, love. By following Ahimsa, he won the hearts of many people across the globe. With the principles of Ahimsa or non-violence, he helped India to gain freedom from the British rule. Other leaders across the globe like King Martin Luther and Nelson Mandela also followed Gandhiji's principle of Ahimsa. Violence never yields good results. It only leads to destruction. We can easily solve our problems by following the path of non-violence. You can also become a peacemaker if you believe in Ahimsa. Stop fighting and quarreling. Be kind and friendly towards others. Okay. So this is very important thing in our life, because nowadays the life which we are dealing with, always, most of the times we see people are quarreling, people are fighting for very small things. Maybe it's like, it's no point discussing about those points, but still we people fight. Maybe for a small rubber, maybe for a small pencil. So it is always good that if you can practice Ahimsa, right? Non-violence. Let whatever happens, you follow a path that, no, I am not going to fight for any of the cause or any of the thing, any of the reason. My point will be to support everyone, and even if I am in problem, I should find out the solution through Ahimsa, non-violence, right? If I do that, I will be a peacemaker, because I want to spread love. I want to spread peace in my society, in my surroundings. Why Mahatma Gandhi was loved by the people of across the globe? Because of his movement, of his path, the way he has followed. Okay. So we should also follow this, and it will of course give you celebration and happiness. It will not destroy you. Okay. So let's start with the chapter Violence Causes Sorrow. Once upon a time, there lived a very wicked and selfish giant. He had a large garden with soft green grass. The garden was full of beautiful flowers. There were many peach trees that bloomed in spring and in autumn. So till this much. So we are talking about what? A very wicked and selfish giant. Okay. And what happened once upon a time? This selfish giant lived there, where he had a large garden with soft green grass, and that garden was full of beautiful flowers, and there were many peach trees that bloomed in spring and in autumn. These two seasons, this tree used to bloom. They were loaded with juicy fruits. Birds sat on the trees and sang so sweetly that the children stopped playing and listened to the birds' songs. So, this was the atmosphere there where the selfish giant lived. Children said to one another, "Oh, how happy we are when we are here." Of course, such a greenery area, such a beautiful place where the children are able to play, they become happy and they wanted to be there, because they can listen to the music of the birds singing, right? And they can play with full freedom. One day the giant saw the children playing in his garden. He became very angry. He shouted angrily, "What are you doing in my garden? This is my garden. Nobody is allowed to play here." So they were enjoying. Suddenly, what happened? One day, this giant came out and saw the children were playing there, and he got very annoyed and angry and shouted angrily and told them, what are you doing here in my garden? This is my place. Nobody is allowed here. So you're not going to play here. Okay. Next. Listening to his gruff voice, all the children ran away. The giant was very cruel and selfish. Next day, he built a high wall around his garden. So, first day, the giant saw them, and with a very rude and rough voice, he told that this is my garden, nobody is allowed here. And listening to his gruff voice, the children also got scared and they ran away. What this giant did immediately, he was so cruel and so selfish that immediately he built up one high wall. Why high wall? Because then they are children, no, small children, they cannot get into that garden again. So he built a high wall around his garden. Very next day he did that. The poor children had no place to play. They tried to play on the road, but the road was very busy with traffic. The children wandered around the high wall and talked about the beautiful garden. They said how happy we were when we were there. So now, very next day when he did this, the children were unable to get into that garden. And they were very upset because they were not getting any place to play. They went out on the road to play, but the road is always busy. So they were unable to play there. So they wandered. Like, we had a very beautiful place where we used to play, where we used to enjoy. We could see beautiful garden, but they were happy that time, not now. Days passed and spring season arrived. All over the country, the trees were laden with beautiful flowers. Birds sang on the trees. However, only in the giant's garden, it was still winter. Neither there were flowers nor birds. So, days passed, moved on, and spring season also arrived. And during the season, what happens? The trees were laden with beautiful flowers and birds started singing, sitting on the trees. But the season was spring season. For him, means for the giant, still it was winter. Neither there were flowers nor birds, okay, in his garden. The giant looked of his window and said to himself, why is spring so late in my garden? I hope there will be some change in the weather soon. So he was also surprised and he was also worried what has happened in my garden, why the spring is so late. Maybe some weather changes, that's why. Next, to his sorrow, neither there was spring nor summer. There was only winter in his garden. So, in his garden, neither summer came nor spring. What was there was only winter. One morning, when the giant woke up from his sleep, he heard beautiful music coming from his garden. He walked into the garden saying, spring has come at last. So, another morning when he woke up, he found that he heard a beautiful music coming from his own garden and he was excited. He thought maybe spring has arrived finally. What he saw was the most beautiful sight of his life. Means when he reached garden, he saw something very beautiful, attractive, which was the most beautiful sight in his life. Okay. Through a big hole in the wall, small children entered the garden. They climbed and sat on the branches of the trees. The trees were so glad to have the children back that they were covered with flowers. The birds started chirping around the garden. So what they did, the children, they made a small hole where in the wall and they got inside and they sat on the trees, branches of the trees. They started playing there and suddenly the atmosphere of that garden fully changed. What happened? The birds started chirping. The flowers also bloomed, okay, in his garden. It was a wonderful sight or scene. But in one corner of the garden, it was still winter. There, a little boy was trying to climb a tree. He was crying bitterly as he was unable to climb that tree. The giant's heart melted as he looked at his garden. Now what happened? In the garden, what we can see that there was the garden was full covered with beautiful flowers and birds were singing, but one corner of that garden there was still winter. Why? Suddenly the giant saw that a small little boy was trying to climb, but he was unable, and he was crying bitterly to climb the tree. And seeing that scenario, the giant felt touched. Giant's heart melted, okay, by looking at the garden. He said to himself, how selfish and violent I had been. Now I know why spring did not come here. I will open this garden for all. So finally what he realized, that he was very selfish and he was very violent in his nature, in his words, in his activities, action. So because of that, in his garden, spring didn't arrive. So now he decided that I am not going to be harsh anymore, and I am going to give a beautiful place to my children, those children who used to come there. And he will open this gate for all. Okay, next. He quietly stole up behind the boy. He gently lifted the boy and placed him up on a branch of the tree. So he went slowly, without telling him, he lifted that child on the branch of the tree. The tree at once bloomed and birds came and started singing. As soon as the boy sat on that branch of the tree, the tree at once bloomed and birds also started singing. The boy was overjoyed. He was extremely happy. He flung his arms around the giant and hugged him. Means in this way. He hugged him. Okay. He was so excited. He was so happy. The giant was not wicked anymore. He opened his garden for all the children and played with them the whole day. In the evening, the children bade goodbye to the giant. The children taught the giant the lesson of kindness and love. So, the giant changed himself and he was no more a wicked person. He became very humble, down to earth and helpful. And he opened his garden's gate for everyone, where the children can play again. They used to play the whole day, and evening they used to say goodbye to the giant. Okay. And the giant was also very happy. The children taught the giant the lesson of kindness and love. So in this way also we learn so many things from others. Every moment we are learning. So here also the giant learned from the children to be kind, humble, gentle, and how to spread love. So what we have seen here, the children taught the giant the lesson of kindness and love. So what is the moral of the story? Nothing can be achieved through violence. So from today onwards, what we will do? We will only spread love, love and love, right? No violence, nothing. So we come to the end of this chapter. I hope you all liked the story. Go through the chapter once again. Okay, read the chapter at home. I'll be back with question answers. Okay, till then take care. Bye bye.